Good afternoon, and thank you so much for joining us today for our Instagram for Amateurs, a tool for connection session. My name is Jody Hammer, and I am not going to be your host today for this. I am going to be an active participant, listening to my colleagues, Arianna Richard and Molly O'Brien, who know much more about Instagram than I do. I am going to be an active listener and try to take in all of those things as well that they're going to be sharing. But I'm going to turn it over to them, but I do want to first thank both of you for taking time out of your busy schedules to really, work on this and really focusing it on connecting, because Instagram is such a great tool, for connection, right? And so, in part, we've done this to help affiliate groups, for example, as they're looking to, connect with additional members and just, connect with other Peace Corps populations and other populations in general, but also for anyone who's really interested in kind of mastering Instagram and starting to connect with it. And so it's going to be a very interactive demo style event. There's going to be a few slides that they will share, and then they'll go into more of a, very much of a hands-on and just walking you through, which I think can be the best way of learning. So without further ado, I want to turn it over to Molly and take it away, Molly and Ari. Thanks so much.
Thanks, Jody. Yeah, I'm starting us off, so I'll kick us off with our intro to Instagram. Give my computer. Yeah, there we go. So why use Instagram? It's a really quick way to share information. So like events, fundraisers, projects, announcements. That's kind of one of the great things about Instagram. You can get it out there quickly. It's also very visually appealing. Instagram mostly relies on photos. So for me personally, I find it really relaxing to get on Instagram. I like going on to get quick updates or see something fun or unique in the photos. And then usually I engage with something. So if a company I really like is posting something, I'll go to their link. So we'll talk about that in a little bit, but that's one really great thing about Instagram. The photos really just draw you in. And then also you might reach a different audience. So Instagram primarily attracts a younger audience, and they might engage by chance rather than going to like seek out your page like they might on Facebook. How Instagram works is a lot of scrolling through images. So if they follow you, they might just happen to come across your stuff. Whereas in other cases, they might have to go to seek out your information. So how is it different from Facebook? Affiliate groups we found on Facebook typically have a group on Facebook. It's called a group. And so it's usually invite only. Sometimes it's open, or sometimes people have to answer some questions to get into the group. And once they're in the group, they can see everything. But Instagram is open for anyone to follow you. So it allows you to reach a wider audience, sometimes even more than just your members. And that's really great too. Like I personally follow Friends of Ukraine or Peace Corps Ukraine. I don't know why, but they sent me a request. So I followed them back several years ago, and I did not serve in Ukraine. So that's kind of nice to get involved that way. It also, like I mentioned earlier, Instagram uses photos and short videos only. It really relies on that visual element rather than text. So when we go to the demo, you'll kind of see how it's set up and what's the best way to engage that way. It does have limited ways to interact with other accounts. So like on Facebook, you could ask people to like your page. You can kind of target who you want to ask. Instagram doesn't really do that. You can follow somebody, but there's no guarantee they'll follow you back. You can't ask them to follow you. However, a lot of articles and studies have shown that engagement is higher on Instagram, just because, like I mentioned earlier, the links are right there, easy to click. A photo might draw you in. So people will go a few steps further and might check out your website, versus on Facebook, they might not. It's not as intuitive there. And Facebook also still does have a wider audience. I think I looked it up this morning. They were like 2 point something billion. Instagram has like 1 billion. So Facebook is quite bigger still, but that doesn't mean you should totally count Instagram out. Also, Instagram is mainly on mobile. It really started as an app on your phone. It's super easy to manage from your phone, but you can also manage from your computer, and they've made steps more possible. You used to not be able to post images from your computer, but now you can. So we're going to show you a little bit of that today and what that looks like. And the setup is very similar. So if you learn it on the computer, you'll be able to transfer it to your phone pretty easily. And then finally, just kind of a different messaging for different platforms. You can share the same post across both Instagram and Facebook, but you don't have to. You might want to think of ways to be a little bit different in your messaging. So use photos and videos, make those images really compelling. Don't write a lot on Instagram. Don't put big paragraphs of text. Instead, just use a little bit to link people to your website or to a Facebook post that has maybe more information. You'll find that's the best way to get people in on Instagram. And then finally, use hashtags. So it's the little pound symbol if we want to go old school or original. That's a way for others to find your content. So if you tag it with something relevant, if somebody's just searching through a tag that says like RPCVs or Peace Corps, your post will come up in there. And so we're going to go into our walkthrough, and if you have questions, just go ahead and put them in the chat at any time. We're pretty flexible. Yeah, so I'm going to exit this PowerPoint and head over to Instagram, and I've already created an account, but I will show you briefly what it looks like to sign up. There'll be a sign up button. You can either put an email, so you'll probably want to use your group's email, your name or your group's name. You don't have to do your own. The username, which I would recommend that your username is similar to your group's. You might want to shorten it a bit, but it's up to you. And then password, and that's as simple as that for signing up. So I'll head back over to the account I've created for this, and we'll start with going to our profile, because that's the best way. So this is kind of what a profile looks like. So like I said, so in the top corner, you can see this little symbol is your kind of main hub. If you click profile, it'll lead you to this page here. And then you'll want to go to edit. So when you're setting up, you want to get everything ready to go right in the beginning. So if we hit edit, this is kind of, the basic stuff, but it's always really good to fill out this. So when people come to your page or come across your profile, they can see all of your stuff really easily, and they can be directed to your website really easily. Yeah, so start up here with the profile photo. I did one of me and my counterpart from Thailand, but I would recommend most groups we see on Instagram have their logo. Sometimes they change it temporarily, but I think having your logo is probably one of the best ways to go. The other thing you'll want to do is definitely link your website. This is something that you're going to redirect people to all the time, or you can also link your Facebook page if that's where you primarily post, but definitely this is one thing you'll want to fill out. And you'll probably also want to fill out your bio. Keep it nice, short and sweet. This is how it shows up. So you want to keep it so people can skim and see it really quickly. But yeah, just something about your group is really good there. Yeah, and finally, one thing you might want to consider when you're signing up is having a professional account. So you'll see here on the left-hand side, here are your kind of options. I started with the personal, but I'll switch to professional so you can see what it looks like. The benefits of a professional account kind of allows you to see your different dashboards that will let you track your kind of performances of your posts. You can see who's engaging with your posts. It'll also display your contact info, insights about your followers. So those are just some of the benefits there. So yeah, so you'll see, oh, I don't think it went. And it might not let me because I was on it earlier and switched back to personal. There might be a timed issue. Yeah, so it's not going to let me right now, but it basically gives you a few more options here in your settings, so you can look at different performance indicators. So that's kind of the main stuff here for setting up your profile. You also can link your Facebook to your Instagram. You do have to do that through Facebook. And we've left some links in our slides that will be shared out. So you'll be able to just get like step-by-step instructions for that, but it's pretty easy. So with that, I will hand it over to Ari, who's going to talk about following other accounts.
Thanks so much, Molly. This is great. Yeah, so real quick, there's a lot of kind of mechanics that go into this, but there's also some strategy as well. So I'll touch on both, and if anybody has any questions, we'll definitely make time to get to those more in depth. So kind of like what Molly was saying earlier is Instagram is, you know, kind of like another tool in your toolbox of social media accounts. So it is good to see it as kind of one offshoot. So you will want to, as much as possible, link it to your Facebook, link it to your other media platforms, your website, because this is what's going to capture people's attention and kind of grab them. And then you want to make sure they have somewhere else to go. So this particular platform is really about building your brand and making yourself recognizable, and then redirecting them somewhere else. So real quick, thanks Molly for going through getting set up. I do want to talk about following people, but I also want to touch on making a post as well. So I'll start with how to follow people. So you'll see at the top, and it's a little bit different on computers versus the mobile app, but they both will have a search function. So you can see on the screen that Molly's sharing, there's a search bar up there. And if you are in the mobile app, the search icon is going to be at the bottom of your screen, so just a little bit different. So when you're first getting on Instagram, you might not know any accounts yet. You might not really know what you're looking for, but it's always good to start with like a keyword. So we can start with Peace Corps, and you can just type that into the search bar and hit enter. And you can see that it's already pre-populating the results with different accounts there. Yeah, so you can just choose an account that you're interested in. This one, this is going to be Peace Corps Agency's account. And you can tell, this is a little hint, I think they have this on Facebook as well and Twitter. That blue check is going to mean that that's a verified account. And I'm not positive the exact requirements for becoming a verified account, but you pretty much have to be famous or you need to be like an actual agency or company or organization to get that blue check. And that basically just means like this is the agency, and any other account with the name Peace Corps in it isn't going to actually be the agency's Peace Corps account. So just a little hint there. So that's one way to find somebody. And if you go to, Molly, if you could hover the cursor over that icon, the little, yeah, thank you. I'm glad you know what I'm talking about, even when I didn't, yeah. So that is going to be the follow icon. And you can click that, and I believe it looks different as well in the mobile app. But there's a very obvious follow icon on the account pages. And if you follow somebody, that basically just means that in your home page, you're going to see their posts come up pretty regularly. So you won't have to go searching for them to find their content. It'll just show up in your homepage automatically. So yeah, you can click follow, you can unfollow at any time. And oh, I see something in the chat from Jody. Yeah, let's go to National Peace Corps Association. That's a good idea. Yep, perfect. I think it's there at the top. Great. Yep, and so you'll see that blue follow button, and then the little icon now means you're following that page, and you can unfollow it anytime. There's functions for blocking as well if you, for any reason, want to block an account. So yeah, that's one way to find content and find pages. You can also search by hashtag. So let's go to hashtag Peace Corps. So this hashtag is going to take you to any post by any account that has hashtagged Peace Corps in their post. So none of these posts, for example, are necessarily the same account. They're just posts by varying accounts that happen to be talking about Peace Corps. So this is a really great function when posting as well, because it'll make your posts easier to find for people who don't know what your account is. So that's a really good strategy for becoming visible, which is really what you want to do in terms of creating a following. So yeah, that's how you search hashtags. And you can click on any of these posts and see the account that posted them, and you can go to their page. You can decide to follow that page. Peace Corps Community for Refugees is a very active affiliate group. So in terms of building your community and building your following on Instagram, following other affiliate groups will be a really good strategy as well, and a great way to connect. One other thing I want to talk about in terms of finding posts and finding accounts is if you go up to, at the top, you'll see the dashboard with the different icons. If you go to the icon that looks like a compass, yeah, that's going to be your Discover tab. And this is going to just be random posts. And you can, as you're searching, the algorithm is gonna start to learn what you're looking for. And so you can just go to your Discover tab periodically, and as you're following more affiliate groups, as you're following more Peace Corps related content, it's gonna start populating your Discover page with similar accounts and similar posts. So you can use this tool to not necessarily have to go directly to the search bar. So you might find accounts and find pages that you didn't even know necessarily were there, might not have Peace Corps in their name, but they'll still be relevant to what you're looking for. So that's how to use the Discover tab. And I'm seeing some messages in the chat start to come up. Quick advice on how to create good hashtags. Yeah, my advice is definitely don't use too many at a time. And that kind of goes to a bigger picture tidbit, which is that different social media platforms kind of have a different culture. And I guess the easiest metaphor would be like thinking of your Peace Corps service, right? You had to kind of figure out the culture of your community. You kind of had to have like an integration phase where you were learning how everything worked. So the culture of Instagram is a lot different than Facebook. It's a lot different than Twitter. So kind of unspoken faux pas in Instagram is using too many hashtags. I don't know why that is. I don't know, how that started, but it's really best to try and keep your messaging concise. So for example, what you hashtag is going to be keywords that are related to the posts that you're posting. So for example, hashtag Peace Corps, if your post contains information pertaining to Peace Corps, because you want people who are potentially looking for Peace Corps related content to be directed to your account. You could use hashtag fundraising if you're doing a fundraiser. You could, it really depends on what that specific post is trying to communicate, and you just want to pull out keywords for people who might be looking for that.
Yeah, Karen, that's a good point too. In the chat, you just mentioned like seeing what the popular ones are. When we do the sample post, I'll show you how they pop up, and you can see how many have been used. So like I was testing earlier with my own post, and I was like trying to find different community outreach, and a couple were just like it's been used one time. So I finally settled on community outreach, and that way had been used like a couple hundred times. So that's helpful in getting good hashtags as well. And we'll show you how that looks in a second. Sorry to jump in there, Ari.
No, that's perfect. Yeah, and I see also, sorry, I didn't see this before, going back up to a previous question. In terms of hashtags, so the hashtag will stop after a space. So if you try and do hashtag Peace Corps and you put a space between peace and core, the hashtag will just be hashtag peace. So you want to make your hashtag all one word. And if there are multiple words in the phrase, you'll want to capitalize the beginning of each new word. So that's kind of how that works there. All right. Okay, do we want to run through a sample post, Molly?
Yeah, let's do it.
All righty. Okay, so when making a post, you can see Molly's cursor hovering around that plus sign. You'll want to click on that to start creating. So you can either drag and drop from your computer. You can either drag and drop photos and videos in, or you can select from files in your computer as well. On the mobile app, it's a little bit easier. In general, this whole process is easier if you're using it on the mobile app versus the computer, but both are fine. On the mobile app, you can just go to your photo library from your phone and pull those in to make your Instagram post. So you'll select a picture or a video, whichever you'd like to do. And then the next step, once you select your picture that you're going to use, you can go ahead and hit next, and you can kind of crop it there. The next thing you can do is make it pretty. So you can add filters, you can add edits. You don't want to over edit your picture. That's kind of another faux pas. You don't want to make it look too kitschy. But essentially what you're trying to do is if you have a low resolution or low quality picture, some of these filters and adjusting the brightness and color contrast can just make your picture look a little bit nicer, especially if it was taken on an older phone that has an older camera. So yeah, you don't want to make it look too crazy there, but adding some adjustments can bring a low quality picture up a little bit. Yep, so once you've kind of played around with your picture, made edits, you can hit the next button and it will take you to captions and geotags and tags. So when you write your caption, you don't want to steal the thunder from your picture because the picture is really what people are looking at. Honestly, a lot of the time, people might not even stop to read the caption. So you want to make it really short and sweet and make it grab their attention and direct them somewhere else. The people who use Instagram have really short attention spans. So it's really, this is you kind of have to play the game of hooking them a little bit there. So in your caption, it helps a lot to make it catchy if possible. You really want to capture what's happening in the picture. And for example, this could be, to promote an event. You want to maybe provide some information about the event. Or if it's just general promotion of your brand, you'll want to say, you know, check out what we're doing, but make sure you describe the picture. So another thing you can do here is add in your hashtags. So this is where you'll write the caption first, and then give a little space between your caption and your hashtags, which you can just do by hitting the return key. Yeah, so you can just write a brief description there. Bonus points if you can throw some wordsmithing and jokes in there. Yeah, and then you can kind of start putting in your hashtags. And that's what that's going to do, is just make it to where if somebody searches the hashtag Peace Corps, your post will pop up in their search. You can also add something called a geotag. This is not something I do typically in my posting. I could see where it would be beneficial if you have an event and you want people to know where it's going to be, or for example, if you want people to know that this photo was taken in Thailand, when you use a geotag, people can also find you when they search keywords. For example, this is Thailand. If somebody searches Thailand in the search bar, your post could also be discoverable in that search as well. So geotags can be another good way to bring people in. And that's really what you're trying to do, especially when you're getting started, because people aren't going to know what your account is. So any way that you can make yourself findable is going to be beneficial. Can you write on top of the photo in the editing process? Good question. I have not made a post where I've written on top of the picture. You can do that in your story posts, which we'll go over. I don't know if you can do stories on the computer, Molly.
We'll find out. I'm not sure.
Or this is Jody, just a question. Is it possible to maybe do that editing outside so it's in your photo album and then upload that?
Yes, you could do the editing outside of the Instagram app and then import that photo.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Thanks.
Yeah, I would actually recommend that if you want to put any text on the picture, or if you want to do like a picture only text or post, words only post. So if you want to like announce an event coming up, I would make that in a different program. And we have a couple suggestions for you as well, and what are some good programs. So we can share that in a bit.
Awesome. All right, so yeah, you can see in the top right corner of that window that is open, there's a share. So you can, after you're done editing and adding your caption and tagging people. Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot to mention, you could tag people in the photo. This is a photo of what looks like host country nationals in a community. So they might not have Instagram accounts, but if you made a post, for example, with individuals in your affiliate group, and you wanted to tag them in your post, you could do so, and that would make their accounts discoverable to other people who are looking at this post as well. So when you've done your tagging, your geotagging, your caption, your hashtags, you can go ahead and hit share.
Yeah, and just to clarify, if you see the little kind of cross here, that's all you have to do to tag on the computer. If you're on your phone, you'll have to like click the image, but you just click it wherever. People usually click like the face or the body if it's a specific person.
And then you can hit share. And your post has been shared, and that will show up on your account somewhere. It might take a minute. I do want to go over posting a story, and I don't know if you'll be able to see it really on the computer, but I know we had a question about that. The story function is a relatively new function. So I'm still kind of learning the nuances of it myself. But I'll describe what it looks like in the mobile app, just so you guys can kind of imagine a visual in your head. So when you open the app on your phone, it's going to open directly to your homepage. And across the top of your homepage, any account that you're following, you must be following to see people's stories, just by the way. You'll just see a string of little circles with people's profile picture in them. And these are people's stories. So what a story is it's a post that is only up for, oh, did you find it? Oh, I think you found it. Nice. It's a post that's up for only 24 hours and then it disappears. So this is for posting, like if you want to post events, this is a really good place to post flyers or share posts of bigger account postings that you can link to, for example, a registration page. You can link to an events calendar, but it's kind of meant to be just real fast, not providing a whole lot of information, but linking to another page of some sort. So the strategy here is very similar. You want the image to be the star, and you want it to not be too text heavy, but communicate very clearly and concisely what you're advertising. So this is just a really good place to put event postings. So this one is good. You can see the date and the time very clearly, and a very brief description of what it is and who is promoting it. And then you can then go to that person's account. You can go to that person's webpage to get more information, but it does only stay up for 24 hours.
Yeah, and stories are also, so PCC, yeah, for refugees, they've shared a lot of other people's posts. So that's what it looks like here. So if I'm curious about the post, and you'll see at the top, it kind of just, that timeline is just going. But if you click it, it'll stop and you can click see post and it'll bring you right to the post for the page that they've shared. So a smart way is also to share, if you create your own post, share it in your story. I know I personally kind of, that's what I do on Instagram. I'll just get on and look at all the different stories and it just goes to the next automatically. So you'll see it's going. It'll go to their next slide. And then it'll go, you can see over here, I don't know why, apparently I'm following the NBA, but it'll go to the next story automatically without any effort on the user's part. So it's really convenient. So even if they don't click on you, they probably will still see your story at some point. So share your own posts, share other posts that make sense. It's a great way to use stories. And I don't think we can post one from the computer. Normally you would like click your own profile photo and that's how you can add them, but I don't see that as an option on the computer.
Yeah, and I see Karen asked, how do you add stories to remain in your profile afterwards?
Yes.
You can't, if I'm understanding the question correctly. You can make your story post a more permanent post and just go through the steps that we went through for a regular posting and add it afterwards. But if you post something in your story, it will go away in 24 hours. So yeah, that's the catch.
There is a feature, I think maybe what you mean, Karen, is you can, so you see PCC for refugees, they have these are all technically stories. You can save your old ones. And again, it's only, I can't show you because it's only on the mobile app, but there should be an option when you like look at your stories to save it. Let me pull one up on my phone, but these are all saved. So you can see this was 11 weeks ago. So they chose chose stories to share. I think Peace Corps also had some. So if you have like a really cool series that you did, or yeah, so like here's a great one, evacuation FAQ. So at some point, Peace Corps posted a story about updates, and they wanted people to be able to see this later. They saved their story. So I'll quick reference it on my own phone to be able to tell you. We'll come back. Sorry, I'll quick look at it. Ari, if you want to keep going, I'll come back to what exactly the setting is, and we can put it in the chat too.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, and I didn't even know that function of saving posts or saving stories was possible. So yeah, I think a just general tip is it's just going to take practice. It's just going to take kind of going in and getting familiar with the layout, getting familiar with the mechanics of it, either on the computer or on the phone, whichever that you're more comfortable with, and kind of just figuring it out as you go along. So I'll pause, and I know there were some questions posted earlier in the chat. If we didn't see them, you can input them again in the chat box or raise your hand. I know we've covered a lot of information so far. So if anybody has any questions at that point, love to hear them.
This is Jody. I'll go into and see if I can find some in the chat that haven't been answered, but I think you've answered most of them.
Okay, I see one from Cedar. Can you talk about using tools to schedule posts ahead of time? I would like to plan my group's posts a month in advance, and then just let the algorithm run. That's a really good question. I have personally never done a scheduled post before. I would have to look at that and play with that. I've also not seen a scheduled post function. Molly, are you aware of a function that lets you schedule ahead of time?
I did a quick Google search, and I think you might have to use an outside software. It's not the same as Facebook where you can schedule it. It's more instant, but you might have to use a different software for that. I've also never scheduled a post on Instagram. But if you do schedule something on Facebook and your accounts are linked, I believe, and if you've done the settings so that a Facebook story will be shared or a Facebook post will be shared with Instagram, I believe it should do that for you. But yeah, I don't know if there's a specific way on Instagram to do it.
I see in the chat the suggestion to use Canva, which I've never personally used, but I've heard people using it.
I love Canva. One second. Yeah, I've used this a lot to design posts. I think I created an account the other day so I could show you all, but this is great for like images. You'll see I just made an account. I linked it to my Google. It's super easy. And you can design different things. So if you go to the social media, it'll give you like Instagram or Facebook, and it will be like the perfect size for Instagram. They have a lot of templates. You can make your own, or if you like a look of a template, you can take it and change the text. Your first time, it'll walk you through it. You'll see a lot of it is free. Some of it's paid. You can pay by the image if you want. If you really like something, it's usually pretty cheap. So like this is a pro account. Yeah, I really love this. I use this a lot in the past for both Instagram, Facebook, and just creating like different flyers and stuff. I would highly recommend, and you can even put photos into here. So like earlier, if we wanted to do this photo and we wanted to add some text, probably wouldn't use this theme, but you can just drag it right in here. And you can, play with the size. You can stretch it and it does, you can see it won't destroy the integrity of the image as well. So you could add some text in here as well. But yeah, I highly recommend Canva. The free is plenty. I've only ever used the free account working for different organizations. So I would highly recommend it. And you can type right over to, it's bring forward. So easy to use. And once you save it, you can upload that image right to Instagram as well.
Yeah, so Dan, this might be a good answer for your question about being able to write over pictures and things like that. All right, do we have any other questions about what we've covered so far?
I'll also pull up some pages of some other groups so you can see what they have done. And I would highly recommend following other groups. You never know who might follow you back and who might see your post. You might have noticed, so if I hit follow, you'll see, oh, suggested comes up. So if somebody follows this group and they're following you, you'll probably pop up as a suggested person or group for an individual to follow. So it doesn't hurt to follow a bunch of different people. But yeah, here's a great post of, this is what posting an image would look like. Pretty basic. Who's going to participate? Oh, they want to thank people for this event. I know the Milwaukee Peace Corps Association, they'll post their events really often. They have an event coming up, here's the details. And you can see they posted a little bit more in their caption, but me reading this, I can get as much as I need to know from the image. I shouldn't need to look at the caption. So that's a good example of an image post. Yeah, here are some other just really great images from other groups. See, I was drawn to that, so I clicked on that. Oh, and really cool. So I see here that they have an event coming up and they have more stories from this group. So yeah, you might want to get creative in the type of content you're posting. Throwback photos. Yeah, so TBT, Throwback Thursday, that's a great hashtag to use. So you could find something from the past and feature it on Thursdays. That's something commonly done. Friends of Mozambique. Oh, cool. So here they're announcing their new website. So very simple. They even use some emojis. I like to use emojis when I post. Yeah, it should be short, sweet, cute. Oh, some chacos. Everybody can relate to chacos. Okay, so I think this must be a shared post or something. Oh. Yeah, see, it's always there's just kind of creative. That's funny. Let's see, Friends of Vanuatu. There's Brett, their leader. Oh, they're gonna do a book discussion with an author. So that's a really great way to showcase an upcoming event. Yeah, even some screenshots like this. Yep, and this is a great example of link in bio to watch the discussion. So if you see that, So they're not linking it directly in their post, but you can go, we can go to their bio, and actually we don't have to click on the app. You would click from the post, but you can see, here's the link. Click on that, and it should lead to, yep, their website. And right now they're featuring their book club. So a lot of groups will also post like the most recent thing in their bio. So you can see actually their most recent post was about the book club. So it's always kind of relevant. So they might be changing the link in their bio often to be relevant to what their most recent post is about. If you follow anything like NPR or any news source, they do that a lot. They have a kind of highly sophisticated version, but they have like link trees, and they have paid links that match their photos to Instagram, but you don't need to do that. This is totally sufficient enough. So yeah, so those are just some examples of some accounts.
Looking at Jody's comment in the chat, so you could also, I mean, you could look for affiliate groups, you can look for, anything related to Peace Corps, but you could also look for topics. So one good account, and I've never looked them up, but we could look at Citizens Climate Lobby, for example. So if your group wants to do work in like the environmental action sector, or with anything to do with climate change, it might be a really good idea to follow the Citizens Climate Lobby page. That way you can connect your group members to events that Citizens Climate Lobby might be doing. So that could be an example of an account you could follow that's not necessarily anything to do with Peace Corps, but could still be a cool account for you to follow and engage in some activities there.
Yeah, that's a great point, Ari. It's good to follow those. So if you want to share one of their posts, like if they are having a cool event like this one, oh wow, that's coming up tomorrow, I want to share that with my group, you can share. And to share a post, if you click on it, you'll see here on the right, we got a couple of options. So the heart is like it, the bubble is comment, and then this is like share or send the post, and you can also bookmark it. And if you click the share, you can share it personally or like to a person. And I don't know who I have friends with on this, nobody, but you can also post it to your story. And I don't think, since you can't do it from the computer, I probably can't show you that, but you can post it from your phone on the app. You can share it to your story. So like we saw with PCC for refugees, how they had other people's posts, it'll pop up as an option, and it should just say share to story. Yes, and I also found the answer about the stories. So I can't show you again because we can't do it from the computer, but if you're on your phone and you've posted a story, you'll have a couple of options at the bottom. It'll say share to Facebook or highlight. And I believe you click on highlight, and then you can add it to your highlights. So these are all called, I guess, highlights. And if you click a new one, you can title it like any of these. Yeah, they have like carbon price, call Congress, stuff like memes. So you can create a highlight and then click add. And then it should show up on your profile like this for other groups. So it is called highlights, and you can see that from the app. So it's always good to have someone using this on the app as well. Yeah, are there other questions in the chat we missed? Oh, favorite sites to follow. I follow NPR. Oh, the National Park Service, highly recommend you follow them. They are hilarious on Instagram. Probably on Facebook too. They're a great example of really funny captions. Yeah, they have some really good ones about like, don't go out, like you'll get attacked by a bison, or
AKA They called it a needle beaver.
There we go. See? Oh, there. Yeah. Not a hugger. We repeat, not a hugger. Yeah, it's always kind of educational and funny. They do really long posts, but theirs are educational, and I actually tend to read them because they're funny. Yeah, like hey, slowpoke. I would, yeah, highly recommend you follow them on Instagram just for entertainment purposes. But they're a great example of doing something educationally and funny. And like I read that whole thing. Maybe not for every post, but I know, the National Park Service is going to have something kind of funny.
Yeah, this is also a really good example of capturing someone's attention with an image and then bringing them into the caption. So really successful posts that have a lot of engagement have just a standout picture. Because as people are most people on Instagram are on their phone and they're just scrolling, scrolling, scrolling. So you want to try and have an image that's going to make them stop.
Yeah. And I would say one other tip for everyone, ask for help in your group. You'll probably have some social media gurus that are part of your group who would love to manage your account. It's really a great experience for them. And they might be more proficient or experts. So it's not a hard lift to manage, especially if you have a team that kind of brainstorms some content. Definitely ask people in your group to help out. It's nice to have some others on the team doing the lift.
All right, we're coming up on the hour here. I don't know if anybody had any last minute questions. Molly, if you had any last minute final thoughts to share here. But that pretty much concludes Instagram presentation here today. Like I said, we'll make sure that this information is shared with everybody so that you have access to some of the links we've got.
Yeah, thanks everyone for joining in, and hopefully you learned a little bit, and we appreciate the suggestions as well. Different tips are always helpful and appreciated from others. So feel free to reach out anytime with questions and suggestions. We love it.
And thank you so much, Molly and Ari, for the great job you did. I learned a lot myself, and I'm excited to try it out.